Good morning, everybody. Today, I want to continue with the unraveling of the lies that Harvey Norton was putting out there yesterday, trying to cover up and mislead the people of the country. So, I'm going to start from where I leave off. The next thing he went on to say is that the president and the opposition leader agreed for the recount. And based on what is found in the order, an assessment will be done. And then they will be able to say whether these elections were credible or not. And in his honest opinion, these elections were not credible. Of course, in your opinion, I ain't want to say nothing much about that because they ain't making no sense and waste time. Right? Then the guy who was interviewing him turned and said to him that the people we know they're losing and still trying to hang on. And I've been out and switch to fast because you know that what the jackass is saying ain't making no sense. Because if he would have said that he wake up this morning surprised to what he's seen in the newspaper that the PPP leading by 18,000. And now he said the PPP losing and trying to hang on. So if the PPP was leading by 18,000 and they're losing, the APA and AFC was not leading by anything and they're winning. I don't see how they're making any sense, sir. Right? So you just a waste of time. That's why I said in the previous video, your name didn't make no sense. You're just an asshole. So I'll be nothing quickly change the conversation and move on to saying that they are seeing widespread rigging in different regions. Different region meaning that except for region 4 and region 10, there was no rigging in them two regions. The rest of them, all of them had rigging. With no evidence to prove that there was rigging. And they would have discovered yesterday, which was the 4th of June, in the quarantine area, Skeleton Line Part Secondary, that 15 unmarked OLE was supposed to be in the Skeleton Primary, end up in a box at the Line Part Secondary. And he's sure that if somebody had to move it from the primary to the secondary. Now, how you could come out and say you know that somebody would have been moving it and did not have any confirmation or any statement coming from the presiding officer as to what happened, make these things happen if they did happen. I use a liar and I don't trust nothing you're saying. But if this was true, then we had to get the presiding officer to say what happened. And you can't come out here with an assumption and trying to tell people that it's fact. You understand? Because you're assuming that this is what happened. And now you come and say that it's fact, trying to mislead the people. Right? Based on a lie. Until we get a statement from the presiding officer, nobody could tell what happened there. Nobody. And you come in and said that somebody had to move it. You know somebody had to move it. Them things they ain't making no sense out of it. And they are convinced that at the end of the observation, the evidence will point to electoral fraud. And the commission, he believes, will be compelled to make a decision that acknowledge fraud. Nobody ain't compelled to do a shit, Aubrey. Everything based on the order that gazetted. There is no compelling of doing nothing. Right? So don't bring that stupidness to body. Feel you could try to force GCOM to do something where you want them to. This is what you're trying to do here. Right? The commission will be compelled. Nobody will be compelled to do a shit. You understand? Don't try to push this thing down people's throat. You understand? This thing ain't gonna work. Right? Then the next man asked him now, the man who was interviewing him, if he know if GCOM will have to receive the CARICOM report before its pronouncement. What is people here really involved in? Because it basically like this man got no idea that this is an election. A recount is what they're going through. Every question he asking is based on he guessing something. Or he just hears something and coming and I try to find out where is it. Of course, GCOM will have to receive a report from CARICOM boss. Of course, before they do anything or say anything. Right? Then Aubrey Norton went on to say, replying to the same question, he have no knowledge, but he assumed. That's it, Aubrey. Assumption. This way is supposed to be using an R of them. Before you come out with them, I assumed, not I know, with no facts. He assumed that it is logic that will suggest that CARICOM will have to give its report before GCOM make a final pronouncement. GCOM is not going to make a pronouncement. GCOM have to make a declaration, right? Because Article 13 provides for CARICOM to do that. And he sensed that report will have to come before a pronouncement. Just now he said he didn't know. Right? And now he's saying that the article provides for that. Article 13. How, when an article provides for something, he ensure, he assume it. And when there is no article provided for something, he's sure that this way is supposed to happen. These things are making no sense, Harry. And he can't say he know if CARICOM will have to do that because GCOM did not say that to he. So he was guessing actually. Well, based back on the assumption. Now, since when GCOM have to say something to Aubrey Norton? I thought this Alexander position to get information from GCOM and take it back to them. Now he clearly saying that GCOM didn't say that to he. GCOM didn't have to say nothing to Aubrey Norton. Who in GCOM is giving Aubrey Norton instruction? We need to find out that. Who in GCOM, who's supposed to be a neutral institution, is leaking information to Aubrey Norton? For he to say that GCOM never tell he so. This here is problem. Right? So, again to the supporters, if y'all can't see what's going on here, something wrong with that, yo. Then he went on to say, from the gazetted order that facilitate the national recount, it's a recount of ballots cast, including reconciliation of ballots cast, ballots destroyed, ballots piled, and the rest of them, etc. Right, there's where the man who sit down next to him asking him. So he went on to say he glad that the order mentioned specifically about the poll books, because that was one of the things they said the order catered for. Right? About the poll books. Because they were trying to suggest that the poll books are not important. The poll book is important. But you cannot say the elections were fraudulent or not credible because you don't have a couple of poll books. Right? The vote that the people cast on the ballots they have is what matters more than the poll book. You understand? So you can't come and say because of the poll book the whole election have to go over. It cannot happen, Aubrey. It cannot happen. Right? The poll book is important, but not that important. And when there is real fraud, the poll book is missing. When there's real fraud. How you could determine that there was real fraud with no evidence? Come on, Aubrey. You can do better than that. And this point to a plot. And if the order says that the poll book is important, that means it's not just a numbers count. It is a complete audit. No, it's not an audit, Aubrey. Don't try to use the order stating that have to assess assessment of the poll books to saying that it have to be an audit. Don't try to misuse the authorities or the statement in the order. Don't try to misuse that. Right? That ain't gonna work. And that he thinks the Guyanese people need to understand and not be fooled by culture news or Starbuck news when they're saying that the PPP is ahead. Don't be fooled, people. The PPP are leading. And just after that, he went on to say, then he said, it might be true that they are ahead. Remember, he just said, the Starbuck news and the culture news fooling the people when they're saying PPP is ahead. Now he went on to say that it might be true that they are ahead. No, it's not. It might be true. It is true that the PPP are ahead. Then he said, and the order make it clear that this is not just a numerical count. It is an reconciliation and an audit of what happened in the election. No, Arby, it's not that. It's a recount. Right? The PPP was making a lot of noise, and now they are silent when the AP and your AFC is putting out the evidence to show that there was fraud in the election. Right? And they ain't hearing me go name calling again. Because there was fraud in region 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Well, they must have not 7 yet. And the rest of them. Right? But we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them out of the 10 up to now. And we still got more backs to come. And they recognize that the PPP strategy is to keep saying something about Mingo. And Mingo is history. This is what he went and said. Mingo is history. If Mingo is history, then Mingo declaration would have been history too, sir. When Alexander come out and said that GCOM, and what the next one in? Y'all, ay. The one we can't count, we said that 62.5 and 62.5 is what the recount, the vote of no confidence supposed to count, and not 33 and 32. Anyway, he and Alexander saying that GCOM still should use Mingo declaration. And at the starting, before the order gazetted, Alexander was trying to tell GCOM to hold on to Mingo declaration. And there was thrown out from the court that they invalid no more. Yeah, still fighting for the declaration made by Mingo to be used, but you saying Mingo is history. If Mingo is history, but doesn't mean the declaration is history too. Mingo is history. When you are trying to thief the election, there was history. When somebody else tried to thief it, it's a different story. Well, I tell you, right? The PPP sat down and agree on a recount process, and the PPP agree to reconciliation. The PPP agree that everything that happened on election day must be brought to the floor. Now that they have been brought to the floor, we must look at them, address them, and decide if the elections were credible or not. No, you could look at them and assess them. But you cannot, GCOM and the whole cannot make a decision whether the elections are credible or not. Right? There's for a court to decide on an election petition. But GCOM could say yes, we think that it was not credible or it was credible. They can give us the views and what they think, but they cannot make no decision based on that. Okay? And the people will latch on a few names that Starbuck News and Kaichut News put out about the people them who they claim they migrated, coming out and said that they was in Guyana and they vote. And some of them never left the country. Some of them didn't even have a passport. Now they're saying 5 out of the 9 names that these two news agencies put out was not on the list and names that they give to GCOM. Right? And the PPP is trying a con game. They are just pulling names and putting it there for etc. Devendra Kisun. They're saying that at no stage the APNU AFC submitted Devendra Kisun name as somebody who did migrated. So only y'all talking the truth and everybody's who come and say y'all did produce this name. Lying. Right? And remember you were saying earlier about the thing with Anil Nandalal. When he said if one fraud happened, advise the whole process. Now if you produce a list and one fraud happened in the list, doesn't that void the whole process of the list? Eh? It only voids the process when it benefiting you. Right? If you find one name that was fraud on the list, that voids the whole list too. Based on what Anil Nandalal saying before, and you claiming have to be used now, then they have to be used here too. Right? So y'all don't have no list or nothing if you find one person who y'all claim was out of the country or dead, saying that there was in the country. Right? And they are just pulling names and put it, etc. Devendra Kisun, yes. And oh, yes, and so the PPP are pulling wool over the Guyanese people and the others, in the meaning that the observers them. Right? They're pulling a wool over them so they can't see the facts. Really. They want to say this to they want to say this to them, to the PPP. If they are saying that these people were here and voted, they want to see the page from the passport to show that on this day that person was stamped in and was in Guyana. You want to see a page. But what page you are producing? What passport page you are producing to go with your claims when you are saying these people here would have migrated and vote and all these things? If you want to see these people passport that they were stamped in the country or that never left the country, you have to produce the passport of the people them who you claiming was out of the country too, sir. Right? Okay? Very good, Aubrey. You have to get the passport to everybody who you claim. Your 207 name or your 172 would have said confirm that they was out of the country on election day. You have to bring the passport and let me see if it was stamped or not. Or your claims don't have no power. Right? So I'm glad you say that. Because we could find these people with a passport. They live in Guyana. But you can't find nobody because it's a lie. Okay? So let me go down the same road there. They must provide the name of the persons and all the information, and then let the APNUFC cross check it with the numbers they call at the counting station. So the PPP now must go and get these people, get a passport, bring the passport with the people in fact, because this is the best information you can get. The people to be there personally. Bring the people to them and let them cross check it. Right? Then you go and bring you people who you claiming was out of the country with the passport and the information, and let we cross check it. right? Because at the starting of this whole thing, yeah, remember y'all say y'all had y'all evidence. Amna Ali, you, Harmon, Valda Lawrence, James Bunn, Cathy Hughes, Ganesh Manipal, and the rest of y'all who I can't remember y'all name to pronounce y'all. All y'all said y'all had evidence. And you is the one who said y'all can produce this evidence at the right time. Right? But y'all cannot produce none. So go and bring the people in passport and the information. Let me count them. Let me cross check them, please. Go and do that. And we can do it. Right? Because everybody who come out and now and said that there was in the country from the list that ain't gonna be on the list is the same thing was happening before. When people from all different parts of the world making video and put on Facebook saying that they are alive and well and they ain't dead. You're saying that the name was never on the list. Now nobody here name gonna be on the list neither. So we know that. So go and bring the passport page and the information. Good? And when they do that, you will see that both the Kaito News and the Starbuck News are playing political games. So what Chronicle doing? I ain't hear you say nothing but Chronicle. What Chronicle doing? Moving on. And that these two news agencies don't have no interest in transparency, accountability, and credibility. Big man, you don't have no interest in that either. Nobody in the APNU AFC have no interest in this neither. Okay? Not only them. Chronicle don't have no interest in it neither. So I don't know where you're pointing finger that your neighbor window far out when you and done out already. And the only interest is to fool the Guyanese people. Right? This is what this news agency doing. One of the advantage the PPP had is that they, in the corrupt activities, it give itself a lot of media outlet. But here's stripping is, this is the kind of fuck these people putting out there. Right? He's saying that if a quantity of people come out saying the same thing, does not make it true. If you have a quantity of people saying one thing, and that does not make it true, how what you alone saying could be true? How a whole nation saying is lie, and only what your party saying is true? All the observers them, the diplomats them, ambassadors, local observers, CARICOM, the OAS, all these people here saying something and they make it true. Only what the AP and your AFC say is true. What kind of fucking stupidness is that? I didn't know how you gonna come out and put these things here, buddy. How you gonna come out and say these things? And this is what they just said. Only the information that they put out is true. Hey, boy, these people here, I don't know what to say about these people, but only the information that they put out are true. This is what I'm just saying. Everybody else was lying, only them saying the truth. He wondered if they know that the name they put on bingo. Well, based on what he's saying here, that PPP was saying that somebody named Bingo. Is either he was in the country or he was out of the country or dead or something. Oh, Bingo was out of the country, but they still find that Bingo vote. And Bingo write a letter to the chair of GCOM saying that he was out of the country and he don't understand how he could have voted. Bring Bingo passport. Bring the page that say he was out of the country this day and he information and let me cross check it. Right? Do that. Bingo, and mingo. It's all go. Bingo and Mingo, all them is fucking thief. Bring Bingo passport. Any information. And let me cross check it. Because all the people who come out and say that they're alive and vote, and they're in Guyana and vote, them lying. Only Bingo talking the truth. Only Bingo talking the truth. Hey. Don't try that. Don't try them fucking stunts. Them ain't gonna work. And one of the things he want to underscore is when you look at the figures that are being put out in the tabulation. The last time he would have checked, there was over 2,500 ballots. And his information is that a lot of these rejected ballots were clearly marked and some unstamped for the APNU AFC. And that is fraud. Again, you was not the only party who had unstamped ballots and rejected ballots. All the parties them have it. Well, I should say the two big ones. Both sides had it. So if they come out and claim the same thing that this is fraud, what gonna happen then, Aubrey? And you're gonna give me these unstamped ballots and you can't mention nothing about the 8,000 you were saying earlier about the joint services. They just turn into smoke and disappear. Don't go down the road, Aubrey. We don't hear from Yolanda Ward and other party representatives about what the process is with the rejected ballots them that they reject for different reasons, not because nobody tried to thief nothing, right? So don't come and feel like you put this same thing. It's the same thing you're bringing out over and over and over, and then people telling me I talking the same thing over and over when you are coming up with the same thing over and over and over is the same fucking thing. When I hear somebody comment on your live broadcast that it come like you see this scratch, it got to be true. You see this scratch, so it stick at one thing, bang, 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 all the time. There's one thing you keep saying over and over, and that ain't gonna stick in nobody's head. And this is what you're trying to do. Keep repeating it, so you can stick in somebody. They ain't gonna stick in nobody's head, boss. You understand? They ain't gonna stick. This grease pan water. You can always keep sliding. Good? The same grease was on your finger you use bleach to take off. The grease was on water now. So you can keep sliding. It ain't gonna stick. Bye. And this process have to look. That they have to look at the whole process thoroughly. Of course we do that. Of course. I support in that. Look at it thoroughly. When they put up a person died and provide the evidence that person died, the same group was saying they did not have the legal right to get a death certificate. So basically what we're saying here is that when they say somebody dead and produce a death certificate, the PPP was saying that it is illegal for them to collect a death certificate. Now, the death certificate that you would have produced, okay, I understand. I hear they said that there's a legal process. And now you're saying that the law clearly states that anybody can go and collect a death certificate for anybody. Right? But what you're saying here now is that, what I was saying that when you produce a death certificate, the people then would have gone cross-check it and find that the people didn't even vote. And the people dead since 2015 and that kind of thing. And they did not vote. So this was in an earlier video. There is the reason why y'all want GCOM to make phone calls and y'all don't want to produce hardcore evidence again. You understand? There is the reason why. Because anytime you bring any evidence, it can come back to be fraud. Right? Inaccurate. That's why y'all don't want to produce no evidence. And remember I said in a video before as well, that the same name we are get to GCOM, the people in the GRO gonna list the same name. The people in the immigration authorities gonna list the same name. You see, this is what I was saying before it even happened, because it showed that the commissioner of police would have had to have these names before GCOM sent a letter to them. And it had to be them is who gave you these names and said these people here was out of the country. But nobody checked to see if the voters yet. Right? So it's the same thing happening. Aubrey, I, I'm gonna beg you here today. Beg you. Please stop trying to mislead the people of the country to cause problems in the country. And to the people of the country, don't believe these things because this man only saying them. Use your own knowledge and think for yourself. Make an assessment for yourself. Because when y'all go out there and do things to support these lies, right? And something happen to y'all, only y'all gonna feel. I ain't saying that nothing will happen. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that something will happen to you, but just in case something is to happen, only y'all gonna feel the squeeze, not them. Them done thief money already. Them pocket done full already. Right? Only y'all gonna feel the squeeze. Don't follow these people. And do no stupidness because they're lying. They are lying. Everything would have coming out with and saying that they had this evidence and everything. They ain't producing nothing. Not a single thing. The only thing them people is here producing is a bunch of lies. Trying to mislead y'all. Okay? Do not support this stupidness and destroy your home. Because they don't care about your home. They care about them home. If push come to shove, them have the money to fly out, live somewhere else. What you have and where you gonna go? Remember Bob Marley did say, those who can afford to run will run. But what gonna happen to them who have to stay? Them who gonna run, but what gonna happen to you when you have to stay? Is when what you do is what you gonna have to live with. And what them putting you to do, they ain't gonna want to live with it. Don't follow these people. And do no stupidness. They lose the election. They lose the election fair and square. And they're finding different ways how to feel like a corrupt y'all. Mislead y'all into believing that they lose because the PPP thief. Right? Don't support this stupidness. Do not support this crap. Okay, that's all for today, people. And I finish everything that I did say. So the next video should be about something I hear Harmon was saying. Right? So see y'all in the next video, people. Please stay safe. And please